WGN Evening News at 6.
The Federal Reserve's plan to raise interest rates to combat soaring inflation is having an effect. Consumer spending is down, new housing starts are dropping, and mortgage rates are at their highest level in 13 years. Now, this comes as a new survey released today by the Wall Street Journal shows over 60% of CEOs expect the U.S. will see a recession in the next year to year and a half. Joining me now to talk about this, waiting patiently, is Dr. Ryan Decker, Assistant Professor of Economics at North Central College. Dr. Decker, thanks for being with us and welcome here. The president just recently said that this recession is not inevitable. What are your thoughts about that? Is there a way to avoid it from your vantage point?
I mean, a recession seems likely to happen. If you look at all of the warning signs with the Fed rapidly increasing interest rates, that puts downward pressure on consumer spending. Match that with the high oil prices and all the uncertainty with spending right now. A recession seems more than likely to occur, but it's not just 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth, as you may oftentimes hear. Other factors factor into this, and all of those factors aren't looking good right now.
There was a new survey that was done in May among CEOs asking their thoughts on this, and a majority thought that, yes, a recession is coming. What is the traditional wisdom on the timing of that and how long it could last?
Well, the average recession, if you go back decades, is a little over a year, while bull market runs last for much longer than a year. So a recession might be very short-lived, but it's tough when we're going through it. Now, these CEOs have their finger on the pulse of their companies, and they see rising rates, so it's more expensive for them to borrow money, which means hiring is likely going to slow down. And we've already seen that. Hiring is slowing down. Once we start to see layoffs, that's where it really becomes concerning, because then unemployment's going to rise, incomes are going to fall, and consumer spending is going to continue to drop. So we're kind of in the beginnings of what might look like a recession. So we'll kind of see what happens over the next few months.
Can you talk about that balancing act that the Fed has to do to tamp down inflation while avoiding a recession, and you know, what's left for them to do to sort of make that its best position?
Yeah, absolutely. The Fed has been very clear that they want to tame inflation. And the way that they do that is by raising the cost of borrowing. Now, right now, we live in a time where oil prices are rapidly increasing, and we still have supply chain issues globally. Those are factoring into high prices. So the Fed doesn't have complete control over prices that we pay at the pump or in grocery stores right now. And because of that, while the Fed might increase rates to decrease spending, well, all these other factors are still leading to high prices, which is going to bring down consumer spending. So if this continues throughout the summer, especially as we travel more in the summer with high gas prices, our budgets are going to be constrained, which is going to lead us to spend less than everything else, which could push us further into a recession.
Budgets do get constrained, and as you study this, what do you think people can do and should do to sort of minimize the impact of the tough times that we may be facing ahead?
Absolutely. So when we think about a recession, we think about the nation as a whole, but all of the viewers should be thinking about what they themselves can do. Do they have an adequate savings account? Is it 9 to 12 months worth of savings in case they lose their job? Are they a long ways out from retirement? If that's the case, they should be pumping money into the markets right now, given that an average bear market only lasts a very short period of time. So they have a long time to retirement. That money is going to exponentially grow. And for those retirees or close to retirement individuals, they should be actively thinking about their allocation right now. Are they too risky? And do they really want to see this 20% drop in the market? So that readjusting their asset allocation is something they should be thinking about.
Dr. Ryan Decker at North Central College, thank you very much.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
All right, you take care. Jackie?
Just ahead, why U.S. taxpayers are